Hello. Hello and welcome to another Tuesday. Another Tuesday, of course, another stream. And first of all, of course, another quick sketch. Today I'm a little bit late. We're eating a little bit later, so I mean probably also a little bit longer, so that's why I'm a little bit later, or I started my stream a little bit later. I missed my planned stream by like a minute, which is kind of frustrating, but whatever. I always like when I try to put in my to plan my streams for the next day, or like I schedule a stream on the same day I do the stream, but I still have to kind of predict when I actually can go live, and sometimes it's a little bit harder for example for like today. I sometimes can't really make a good guess on when we're done eating, so sometimes I miss those scheduled streams, which is always kind of frustrating because I don't like being late. Maybe I should just stop using those, but I think they service like certain function that I kind of want to use. So yeah, of course today, first thing first, as I said before, we will do the quick sketch. 30 minutes quick sketch, and after that we will basically today probably finish the rest of the mechanical hand when it comes to sculpting, at least. So today we will figure out all the mechanical parts. Yesterday and the day before we kind of sculpted the hand itself, just trying to make it look good. I'm not the best at sculpting hand, so it was kind of a challenge. Kind of had to stumble my way through. Definitely there's some room to improve in the future, but now we have a good base, a good organic base, which we will now transfer or convert into a mechanical hand, basically. This will serve as the basis for the actual geometry that we're going to use in the end. So I will use that sculpt. For example, like if this would be the sculpt, I could then lay out geometry on top of, for example, this part right here. This should be like a panel, for example. I could lay out geometry for this, which would stick right onto the surface, and then of the sculpt, and then I can basically add thickness to that geometry so that you have like panels either on top of the sculpt geometry or like replacing the sculpt geometry. We can figure that out later, but that's basically what we're going to do today. We're going to finish the sculpt, and then maybe we'll even go into adding like the actual geometry that we're going to use in the end. My plan with the hand, as I said before, is to keep it very organic in terms of its shape. I don't want to make like a super mechanic, I guess not mechanic, like I guess like a mechanized hand that has like screws coming out on the sides, or like missing pieces, missing bits. It should, when you look at the silhouette, the mechanical arm, or yeah, the arm and also the hand should look similar to what an actual organic hand should look like. So that is what I'm going for. So I first, of course, sculpted just a regular hand, basically just how it would look like when it's just organic flesh and bones and muscle. And now we're going to transform it into something mechanical, which which should still keep the same volume or a similar volume, but of course be mechanical. In some areas, for example down here, if you angle your finger, you can see the skin is basically like folding into layers, or like folding together, creating these folds or wrinkles. For these areas, it's of course not as it's not really possible to preserve the volume, except if you like say there's some sort of like membrane, for example, just using hard surface I guess panels, for example, making everything hard surface. You can't really like keep the volume down here, what I do is I make like a small gap between the two pieces. So I try to create like two pieces, one for this bone in the middle and then one for the root finger bone, basically. So that when it's like folding, it's not intersecting with each other, that which would happen if you would like basically just keep the surface how it is, or the volume. But I actually put in a small gap, like a small hole in here, that then serves as a little bit of a like a room where the geometry can actually go to without going through another geometry. Yeah, I don't want to ramble too much. We started a little bit later, so I don't want to waste any more time. I already have an idea for this piece. Yesterday's piece actually, I think, looked pretty cool. The focus was really like, because I put a dark background in the background, because I put a dark image in the background. The focus is like fully on the dude, or like the cloud and the dude, which I think looked really cool. Today we have something different. I don't know if we're gonna make a dark background. We'll see. For now, of course, I think Blender's already opened. You can already see it. My timer is ready. I am ready. Hopefully you are ready for this intense modeling session. Let me just quickly pull up Robert, my human base mesh, so that we can start. Nope, I don't need thumbnails right now. I need my quick sketches and my resources. There you go. You know, I grabbed some 3D assets that I've never used before, like a car, for example, a bike. Maybe I should like think about using those at some point, because they look like good models, so I kind of want to use them at some point. But right now, like, yeah, I still have to think about how I could use them. There it is, perfect. Let me quickly open up my quick sketch folder so we can save it in there and then open it if we need to. Let me make a new folder for the quick sketch day 74. Day 74. I have a feeling that next month's compilation might not even happen, because we really only worked on the MSI Creator Award. And I don't know if we're gonna finish it this month. So maybe there's not gonna be a month 3 compilation. Maybe just a combined month 3 and 4 compilation. This also would help me catch up with my time frame, I guess, or my schedule, which is probably what I'm gonna do. Just showing the quick sketches is probably a little bit boring. So do I need anything else? Quick sketches, there it is. Okay, perfect. I am ready. Hopefully you are ready as well. My timer is ready, and I would say 3, 2, 1, go. So before I start, I hit record so I can record my quick sketch. So first of all, of course, as always, I need my Robert. Let me append the dude. He's never gonna catch a break. He's always gonna be the focus of the quick sketch, at least for now. Just have too many ideas like revolving around him. There you go. And I think it's just easier to use a human as the focus, because usually like a human is so complex. Oh, hold on, did a mistake. A human is so complex that you can like kind of, I think like an image needs a certain complexity, and I think a human like takes up most of the necessary complexity to make an image look interesting. Okay, I have an idea. I originally thought maybe I would model a chair, but maybe we don't need that. Maybe we'll just let him sit right like this. I wanted to put one foot to this side, then he can like be cross-legged, right, like roughly like this. Okay, perfect. There you go. Of course his foot is dislocated. Let me relocate it. There you go. Perfect. Doesn't look too bad. Okay. Yeah, maybe if we have enough time, I'm gonna give him a chair so he doesn't have to use magic. Yeah, let me first of all use this face thingy. My face control, put my hands lower. Where's my control for the elbow? There it is. This one is actually a pretty abstract image, I guess, compared to the other ones I made. But it's still like pretty simple. So, what we need first is he's gonna think about stuff and how he's gonna think about. So, let me just quickly think about how his pose would look like either this side. Nope, he's gonna think with his right side. There you go. Rotate his hand. Okay, there you go. It's already starting to think about stuff. Let me just quickly think. Okay. I'm thinking, he's thinking. Are you thinking? That is the biggest question here. Perfect. Let me pull it in a little bit. There you go. Let's maybe... There you go. Okay, so next up, we kind of have to rotate the hand so that... There you go, that's better. Has to be a little bit, like, rotated a little bit. Okay. Just always trying to pose myself, or kind of use myself as a, I guess, inspiration, or like, oh, hello. That's not what I wanted. As some sort of reference, especially like for animations, or basically everything when it comes to art, using yourself as reference, especially if you're using, like, if you're doing like a realistic art or character art. I think using yourself as reference is always a good idea. That's what I did right there. And I saw a interview, or it's more like it was the TV series, I mean not TV series, it was the YouTube series VFX Artist React from Corridor, like Corridor, or like on the channel, on their channel Corridor Crew, where they talked about where they invited an animator, and he talked about how he uses his own movement to like learn about how real movement looks like, so he can then adapt that movement to the character's movement that he's animating. Okay. Let me... Oh, I want to change something. I want to make him like a hunchback. So he's like a little bit more leaning forward. There you go. We have to pull it forward a little bit. There you go. Okay, where's the hand? The hand is back there. Pull that lower. Down there would be probably pretty good. There you go. Okay. His hand has to be a little bit in a different position. That looks pretty good. Okay. Let me relocate his elbow. Okay. So, of course, this is going to be a side profile. Although the side profile looks kind of confused. Maybe we'll choose a different, a different perspective. Okay, let me just now pose this hand. Pretty simple. First of all, let me rotate this thumb out. There you go. Maybe these fingers can be a little bit more spread out. There you go. That should be enough. Maybe this one as well. Okay, that should definitely be enough. Let me then rotate this finger. There you go. Just making like a small cup, because he's gonna hold something. You probably, maybe you know what I want to put into his hands, but maybe you don't. You'll see it in a second. We have 23 minutes left, so actually like quite a lot of time, which is good. So we can actually perfect this image basically. Okay. So I kind of want to move his hand first. He's kind of not looking at his hand right now. There you go, that's better. Okay, maybe pull his head a little bit lower. Of course, we don't have to change his head necessarily, because you'll see what's gonna happen. Now you can probably like guess what I mean. There you go. Okay. Should we change his position, like the foot, which foot is down? Because right now the silhouette looks kind of confused, I think. Maybe we could like use a like perspective similar to this. That could be a good perspective. This way I think the silhouette is a little bit more clear. Okay, perfect. So let me duplicate my Robert. First of all, I'm gonna remove everything I don't need. So all the teeth. We don't need all the teeth. We're not gonna look into his face or into his mouth. We don't need the gum. And that's it. Eyes, he still needs his eyes. What I want to remove though are all the materials. Let me go to the materials. Delete all of them. Delete. There you go. So, okay. Okay. Is he in a sitting position or is he more in a... I think he's a little bit too high when it comes to his bum. So let me pull it down a little bit. That's probably better. There you go. Okay. Where's his... There it is. His elbow positioning. Pull it down. There you go. Yep. Now, what I'm going to do is I will first of all put him into a different collection. So everything is just where it's supposed to be. Everything's in order. I don't need that collection anymore. There you go. Then I will duplicate him. Duplicate. Perfect. Next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide his body, one of them at least. First of all, what I'm going to do first is I will parent, clear parent. Yep, clear parent. There you go. Perfect. There he is. Move him over. What I forgot though was the eyes also have to be duplicated. So where are the eyes? There you go. Oh, we don't have to duplicate those. We don't have to. So let's not do that. Let's just grab the dude. Clear parent. Let's clear the parent for the eyes as well. And now they're already in his face. Perfect. They are cleared. Perfect. Now what I'm gonna do is I will go into the viewport level, set it probably to 3. 3 is usually enough. Maybe even too much. Let's put it to smooth. This way we don't have this weird geometry going on. We apply the multi-res. We use probably a UV sphere. Should be the best choice. We're gonna cut his head off. At least, I mean, we're gonna use his head. Right now he looks kind of like Toad from Super Mario. We need more geometry so the cutoff point is smoother. There you go. Let me see through the thing. Kind of when I cut it off right where his neck starts. There you go. Okay, perfect. So let me line it up real quick. Line up the ball or the sphere with the head. I have my align tool add-on. Align rotation on the x-axis. There you go. Perfect. So let's go in here and use a Boolean modifier. First of all, I'm going to apply the subdivision and Boolean, select the object. There you go. Of course, it's set to different. So we're going to chop his head off right now, but we're going to bring it back. Okay. When we use intersect. So now everything's going to be chopped off. That is not part of the inside of the sphere. There you go. We're going to apply that. Takes a while, I guess. Yep, there you go. Delete, and now we have a head. Perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I will just quickly use the eyes. I mean, select the eyes and parent them to the head. So now we can just move the head and the eyes will follow. We're going to put the head in his hand. Oh, wait. Why is his pivot point down there? Oh, I guess because I have to move it first. Select cursor to selected. Object, set origin to 3D cursor. There you go. Now we can rotate it just how we want it to rotate it. Rotate. Yeah, that looks pretty good. First, like for a first sketch or like a first rotation. There you go. Oh, he's kind of off the hand. Maybe he's a little bit big. But his head should be that big. So I guess we should keep it like this. Let's see if he's actually resting on the hand. Not really. Let me quickly reposition it. Okay. Yeah, I think that's better now. Maybe push it up a little bit. So now we can use the posing and the fingers pose them a little bit better. Meaning, for example, he can hold the head actually. There you go. That's probably better. This finger should be moved as well. Da-da-da. Okay, this finger is pretty off. There you go. 2 more. Da-da-da-da-da. And 1 more. Actually, no, this one is actually pretty good. Perfect. Okay. Let's bring in some geometry for this dude. We have to chop his head off, unfortunately, of course. Okay, his latissimus looks kind of weird. Not quite sure why. I guess that's just a weird deformation from the rig. We're not going to care about that just now. What we're going to do is we will probably duplicate this 1 more time and then just apply everything to the duplicated part so we can still keep the armature as a backup if we need it. Duplicate, there you go. We will remove or hide the armature, the original. We will apply the armature modifier and also the multi-res modifier. There you go. And we will remove the armature. Oh, hold on. We have to clear the parent and keep transformation. Now we can remove the armature. Da-da-da. Okay. So there's 1 more thing missing, which is we have to remove his head. Oh, that's gonna be a little bit different. I mean, difficult, because the fingers are very close. I guess we could just oh, welcome back, Vincente32. I don't know why, but I always pronounce your name with a Italian accent. A very light Italian accent. Hope you had a great day. Hope you enjoyed your Thursday. Only 1 more day till the weekend. Okay, so I kind of have a problem right now. I kind of want to remove his head. Problem is, his head is very close to his hands, which makes it a little bit harder. I guess maybe that could work. What if we go in here, remove all these? Those were necessary for the rig, but we don't need the rig anymore. So, pretty good. What if we make a new vertex group? We will go into edit mode, select all the vertices that might be affected by the Boolean using the C selection. I've never watched Prometheus, so I don't know. Maybe it's similar to Prometheus. Every time you ask me about movies, it's probably no. I don't watch that many movies, except for when they're like when I'm going watch a movie in the cinema with my friends. But usually, most likely not. Okay, hold on. Now I have to remove the finger. Then I'm gonna extend the selection. This will probably lag a little bit, but if I'm gonna do it slow, should be pretty good. Come on. Kind of looks like a Batman mask right now. 13 minutes left, so we're actually pretty good on time. I'm kind of surprised that yesterday's project, or like yesterday's quick sketch, took so long, or at least the time flew by so fast. Maybe I was just, I don't know, sleeping halfway through. Okay, perfect. Assign. Okay, hopefully that works. Now if we go in here and use another circle, nope, not a circle, we need a UV sphere. Give it some geometry. And we're gonna put it on his head. Hopefully that works. I'm gonna put it very close to his neck, just like the other, like this head right there. That looks pretty good. Go back and let's see if that works. So what if we then use a Boolean? Oh, no, oh, okay. Well, I have a new idea. What about actually just going in here and separating the hand from the rest of the model. So first of all, what we have to do is select the hand itself. I guess the easiest way would be to just do it like this. Then expand the selection. Pretty rough, but that's not really important. Expand, expand. We need more. 12 minutes. Should be good. I'm not gonna use like complex texture, so I kind of can save some time. This image is pretty simple, so. Okay, perfect. Is that all of them? Let's see. Nope, there's a little bit more left. Excuse me. Okay. So, let's just separate the selection. There you go. Perfect. There you go. Now we have two separate objects. One right there. The other one right there. So we can probably see the cut in the render, can we? It shouldn't. Oh, no. Perfect. Okay. That's actually perfect. So now we can just go in here and use a Boolean modifier. We can probably just hide the sphere and select the sphere. Where's my sphere? There it is. Where, first of all, nope, we can use difference. 3, 2, 1. Okay, well, oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. Yeah, let me see. Okay, I'm gonna keep it like this. I'm gonna not apply the modifier just yet. Maybe I'm not even gonna apply it at all, because we don't really have to. Let me move the focus point to the focus. First of all, oh, why is there a timeline? Let's join that so we don't see it anymore. Okay. So, let me position the camera now. We have 10 minutes left. Perfect. So, I think this silhouette looks kind of confusing. Looks like he just has one leg, if you can only see it like in a pure silhouette. So I think I'm going to move the camera a little bit more to this side. Actually, or this side. I kind of want to make it clear that he's like sitting cross-legged. So I think this side is better. But not perfect just yet. Okay. Now it's all about positioning of the focus point and positioning of the camera. Probably can be a little bit lower. There you go. Okay. I kind of like the good part about this perspective is that you can see both the missing head and the head itself. If you have it on this side, you can only basically see the head, really. If you have it on this side, you can see that his head is missing. Of course, you can see it from the back as well, but I think the focus is just a different, like, somewhere else. Maybe we can like put it up here. This could work. Yeah, let's use it. Let's put it right there. That could really work. Put the X point back to the center. Okay. Give it some more room. Okay. Let's see what the rendered version looks like. Okay, that could probably work. Let me save the quick sketch real quick. It's pretty simple. But it's not done yet. Quick sketch 74. Perfect. Okay, so the basic layout is there, but there's still stuff missing. For example, we have nothing, but these two dudes, or like basically just one dude. So I'm probably gonna put in a plane for the ground. He's, I guess, standing on. He's sort of like sitting and standing. I guess he's sitting in midair. I think I'm gonna use like a sort of studio environment. So now we just go in here and extrude. Whoop, that's the wrong one. We select this edge, pull it up. There you go. And now we can use a subdivision. No, we can just use a bevel modifier to increase the amount and also the segments, make it smooth. There you go. We can set it to smooth. Perfect. Okay, so the only thing that's missing is probably a kind of separation from, like, they should be a little bit more separate from the background. We have 6 minutes left, 6.5. So we can kind of think about that now. We should probably change this to a more dark color, or like a darker color. So let's see what that looks like. Okay. What about putting this roughness down? No, that looks kind of weird. First of all, what I'm going to change is I'm going to remove this light. This light will just confuse me. I will probably use a different lighting for the scene. So let's see if we can maybe choose one of my HDRIs. What about this one? This will make the whole scene pretty green. That's kind of... This one maybe, this more whitish. Problem is, it looks kind of... I think we can work with some pretty drastic lighting, so we'll probably just use our own lighting. We can make our own. We have 5 minutes left, so let's do that real quick. First of all, save. There you go. Okay, let's see. First of all, I'm gonna need a point light to kind of see where it fits best. Probably like in front of here somewhere. Right there. Let's see if that works. We're gonna decrease the radius so the shadows are a little bit harsher. Not too harsh though. Put the power maybe to 100. Now we can position it a little bit better. Kind of want to accentuate the silhouette. I don't want to lose too much in the shadows. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me see. First of all, what I want to introduce is another light. Probably just one more. Kind of like a key light, which we will set to 500 maybe. There you go. We can see a nice key light on this side. We could probably put it on the other side so the head is more illuminated or like accentuated in its shape. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. What I want to change though for this light is I want to put it to a spotlight. This way we don't illuminate the whole scene, we just illuminate them. There you go. Put it right on them. Perfect. 4 minutes left. Let's enable show cone so we can see where it's shining to. We can probably decrease the size a little bit. Pull it down. That's looking pretty good. Although we have 2 shadows now, that's probably unavoidable. Although we can probably pull up this a little bit more. This kind of leads to... What about removing this light? What does that look like? Oh, okay, well, that's probably too drastic. Kind of want to have a studio lighting, though, so this looks pretty good. The only weird thing is like the shadow at the bottom. What about putting this a little bit higher? That could work. Yeah, let's use this. Okay, perfect. Let's save real quick. We have 3 minutes left. Let's see. The floor could probably use some... Actually, First of all, what I'm going to do probably is zoom in a little bit more. We have some more room to use. There you go. Next up, what I'm going to do is I will use the depth of field setting for the camera. I think this will kind of help us distinguish the background from the foreground. Depth of field, there you go. Use the DOF empty, and there you go. Depth of field is enabled. If I put it very, very low, 0.5 for example, you can see even he gets like smoothed out. Let me put the depth of field empty right on him. That's better, but still, of course, it's way too shallow, the f-stop. Let's put it to 2 maybe. That looks kind of okay. Well, let's keep it at 2.8. Okay. We have 2 minutes left. Anything else I want to change? What about putting the background a little bit more to the front? More like over here? I think that could work. This could work, yeah. Let's use it. Let's put it right there. Okay. What about using a like fog? Let's see if that actually looks good. Let's see. Make it bigger. Change the display to wire. Then use, of course, a principled volume node. Easiest way to make fog. I think basically the only way to make fog. Principled volume into volume. There you go. Increase that. Ooh, very dramatic. Of course, we have the density way too high. Well, I guess we can just put it to 0.1 or even less. Let's put it to 0.001. Just to have it a little bit in there, but not too much. Perfect. That could, yeah, that looks pretty good. 35 seconds. Anything else I want to change? Did I forget anything? I don't think so. He's just chilling. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Although his foot looks kind of like he's flying over the ground if you look at it. I don't really know why. Because he is right on the ground. Why is his foot looking like he's floating? I guess because he's actually... I guess we have to pull it down a little bit to bring some shadows in there. That's better. Yeah. Okay, that's better. Okay, perfect. Yep. 9 seconds left. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there you go. Perfect. Remove the timer. We don't need it anymore. Let me just quickly sort this stuff here out. I want to just quickly make sure everything is in the right order. Everything is in the right folder. Looking pretty good. There you go. Save. Let's do a first render. 50% quality, of course. I mean resolution with only 32 samples. It's not a complex scene, so we probably don't need that many samples anyway. Let's do the first render. Before we do that though, I'm going to switch to the render view. There you go. F12, render. There you go. Takes a while to load because I guess because of the pretty complex model. Okay. I think if I would have maybe if I would have switched the leg position, if I would have mirrored it so the other foot would be over, like the right foot would lie on top of the left foot, maybe that would have like make the silhouette a little bit more readable. But I mean, that's just a small change. You know, I don't even know if volumes are really that necessary. Let's do another render without the volume. I don't think that it's really necessary. Let's do one more, just to see if there's any difference. I think this one's a little bit clearer, so I think I prefer this one. Okay, so let's go to the post-production. There you go. Let's put the glare node in there. Our favorite node. Nothing really happened because it's just not enough. I guess the value is not high enough. You can probably put this to 0.1 to see a big difference. Now he's kind of glowing. Maybe a little bit too much. We can set it to high. This will reduce the glow, make it more concentrated. We can probably put this to 0.25 to reduce the glow a little bit more. That's probably pretty good. Save this. And then we're going to render in the final resolution. Put this to 100%. And let's use 128. Let's use 250. No, 252. 256. Okay. Render image. There you go. Okay. Almost done with the quick sketch. And then, of course, we will go back to the model. I actually, I'm going to talk about that later. What I wanted to say just now. Let's see if we actually even use the fingerprint texture on this. Maybe it's not necessary. Maybe it'll make it a little bit more gritty than it needs to be. But even like I kind of was thinking the same for the last quick sketch, but even then it kind of helped make it just a little bit more interesting, especially like in these regions where there's basically just gray or black. Putting in like some sort of texture kind of helps, makes it a little bit more interesting. Come on, you're almost done. Okay. Almost done. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And there you go. Perfect. Save the image. PNG. Of course, who would have guessed? Quick sketch. Day 74. Tomorrow's 75 already. Getting closer and closer to 100. Kind of weird. 100 sounds like a pretty high number, but then if you think about it, a year has 365 days. So if you put it like in that perspective, it doesn't seem that much, at least to me. Of course, we're still like 25 off 100, but still 25 days is basically just a month. Okay. So Photoshop is already open. Let me import my imago. There you go. I don't need my other folder anymore. Let me switch the scene. First of all, before I do that, that is what we're going to do today. What we're going to work on today. Yesterday we started Hearts of a Sculpting. The first finger, we're probably just going to copy this finger to the other 3. Kind of change the geometry a little bit, make it a little bit shorter and all that. This is the basic setup for the finger. So we're gonna kind of probably think a little bit more about this part and the thumb, like the hand itself, like the rest of the hand, not the fingers, but the rest, and the thumb as well. But before we do that, of course, switch the scene to Photoshop, And there it is. First of all, what we need is selective color correction. Let's go to black, make it a little bit darker. There you go. Maybe make the gray tones a little bit darker as well. Actually, I'm gonna keep them pretty high. This way we can kind of preserve the silhouette pretty good. Otherwise, if you make it too dark, it kind of melts with the background. I kind of want to separate it as much as I can. White, do we need white? I don't think we have to change white that much, if even at all, because it's pretty white. If we increase it more than probably 10, we're going to lose some detail. So perfect. The only thing I'm going to bring in is my fingerprint texture. Textures, there it is. My favorite texture ever, probably the most used texture by now. This one right there. And let's see if we can make it bigger. We don't need that much turbulence in the image. Making it bigger just, I guess, makes it less turbulent, and also I guess we have more room to position it, which means we kind of we can kind of decide how the turbulence like forms or like is positioned in the frame. There you go. Looks pretty good. Next up, I will reduce the strength probably to 50%, just keep it in there a little bit. That looks pretty good. So the only problem I kind of see with the glare node is that it kind of blurs the silhouette a little bit. It may seem a little bit like blurred, which could be like a deficit. I'm not going to change it with this one, but maybe that's one thing to keep in mind for when I do like a similar image with like a drastic contrast between the background and the foreground. There it is. Oh, I forgot the resolution, 1920 by 1920. There you go. Saving always takes a while. I don't really know why. That's just how it is. Sometimes it takes like ages, and sometimes it's like super fast. Usually it's like, it seems like if there's like a lot of white in the scene, it takes like a while to save the image, and sometimes it's like super quick. Or maybe it's like the range of the values. If you have like a full like super gray image without like with a very shallow, I guess, spectrum, not really very dark black values and not really like very high white values, maybe that's just easier to save. I don't really know. Maybe it's just luck. Gambling whether or not you have to wait 10 seconds or 20 seconds. It's a hard life out here. Okay. Perfect. Oh no, I pressed save again. I mean, I can probably already import my image now until this is done. I guess we can switch back to Blender. There you go. You can see my gorgeous hand that I made. You can stop the recording. There you go. Of course, before we start sculpting, I will upload my quick sketch. While that's happening, I will play my compilation. Only one for now. The second one will be out next week. I promise. That's gonna be my project over the weekend. Oh, there it is. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Let me import my image to my phone. Where's my phone? There it is. And then once I'm done, once the compilation played twice, we will go over to sculpt itself. Let me rename my file real quick. Perfect. There it is. Okay. Perfect. So let me go back in my folders, go back to the MSI CA, MSI Creator Award. There it is. Just to pull up my references if I need them. I mean, I can probably pull up my reference sheet. That's probably one thing I'm gonna need. You can see my main reference right here. I used, like, for example, this shape pretty much in my design. I think the one of the differences is that he or she put this thingy in there. I just put a gap in there. Also, I have this, I guess, kneecap like part where the joint, like the connection between the bones is. Yeah, we're gonna talk about this later. First of all, I will upload my image. While that's going on, you're not gonna see me just sitting there looking at my phone. You will see my quick sketch upload. I mean, my compilation of the first month, what we did there. Hopefully you enjoy. I'll see you in a few minutes. Until then, yep, I'll see you then. There it is. Perfect. First part done. Back to some thick beads while we're continuing this sculpt. Oh, I probably have to charge my phone real quick. There you go. Okay. So I still have my toothpick from my dinner a while back, or like an hour back. Still had something stuck in my teeth. And of course, it is a flavored toothpick, so I can't just throw it away. I have to chew it so I get all the juice out of it. I need my graphics tablet. There you go. Let me drink something real quick and then we can start. Okay. Hold on. Is this finger kind of rotated? Which one is facing in a different direction? I think it's kind of rotated. Either just no, I think the whole like the second no, only the last part of the finger is kind of rotated. I don't think I can rotate it back in edit mode. I mean, we can try. Hopefully nothing's crashing, nothing's freezing. Oh, dude. Hold on. Thanks for the heads up. Hold on. Oh yeah, what I wanted to talk about was I was following a person on Twitter. I don't know if I'm following her or just I think I'm following her. What I can't remember what her name is. Let me just quickly pull her up. Maybe you're interested in her work as well. Probably have to scroll down a little bit. So she made a tweet that she joined a new, I guess, social media platform, which is very, very new. I think the project or like the development started somewhere in 2020 in December, I think. I think it's developed by one person, and just now the early access started. So if you want to get the app yourself, you can do that. It's pretty laggy and slow right now, just because like I think it's now open for the public. So the servers are getting flooded by so many people. Okay, hold on. Where's she? And the concept is basically just like Instagram without. It's kind of like how could you describe this? It's like Pinterest. Okay, no, it's basically like probably. So it's basically a platform which is called Artful, Artfol, which aims to kind of be a platform for artists, where you can like share your art, just like for example on Instagram. You can also post like not only post images, you can post like text as well, questions. You can post questions, whatever. And if you look through your feed, you will only see content from people you follow, meaning you'll see them in chronological order. There will not be like a algorithmic there will be no algorithmic I guess content that is being put in your feed, meaning like you can go in chronological order and you'll see what everybody like basically posts. You cannot see I guess the amount of likes that somebody gives you on a certain post, which could be like, I think it's a good thing for a lot of like people. I don't really care about likes that much. But I think, as far as I at least heard, some people kind of chase a certain amount of likes, which I think is very damaging in the long run, just because of how social media is kind of set up. So that's out of the like that's not really part of it. You can still like stuff, you can comment on stuff, of course. It's kind of like a, I guess it's it's kind of set up like a gallery, like a museum, where you can then like just put your art on there, and when like people discover it, they can like leave comments, like it. Of course, you cannot. I don't know. Like, of course, I just got the app today, so I'm kind of new to it. Of course, kind of have to learn the whole stuff. But it looked kind of interesting, especially because there's also a challenges, I guess, like a page, or like one part of the whole app is like an art challenge section. Right now, I think the challenge is draw this in your style. It's quite a, probably by now, a pretty old challenge, where one artist kind of like makes an image and then like creates an image and then puts the hashtag draw this in your style, for example, in the description or like on their posts, and basically like telling other artists to draw their artwork in their style. You can of course do that by drawing, but I've also seen like 3D artists recreating drawn images in 3D basically. So there's not only this aspect of sharing and like commenting and all that, but also commenting, like discussing, and also like challenges where you can participate. So I'm kind of interested in like the whole concept. I want to see how it develops. Also kind of, I don't know, it just looks interesting to me, so I kind of wanted to see how it works, and just gonna, I guess, play around with it a little bit, probably post my stuff on there as well, and yeah, just see how it turns out. I'm especially interested in the whole challenge aspect. We can actually rotate the finger. Perfect. There isn't too much geometry to do that. Perfect. That's better. In the whole challenge aspect, just because that could actually like lead to some fun, I guess, content for the stream. For like, if you like, for example, like, I don't know, tech challenge or whatever, like, or especially like this, for example, the MSI Creator Award is basically a challenge. Of course, if it's like a social media challenge, it's not really like, there's no prize tied to it, but it's still like fun to participate. And yeah, I'm kind of interested in how it's going to develop. I think it's now available on Android and social. I mean, what is it? I guess Android and iPhone or Apple, iOS, right there, iOS. It's available on iOS and Android, so nobody's included. I think iOS just recently got added, but now you can get it everywhere except on your desktop. I think right now they tweeted that they were working on the desktop version, but it's not like a big focus because they kind of aim for this to be a more mobile, like phone oriented app, or like a platform, I guess. Kind of similar to how Instagram works. You can watch like, or you can like look at it like you can go to Instagram on your desktop as well, but it's not as it doesn't have all the functions that you would have, for example, on your phone. Same with TikTok. On TikTok, you can, for example, not edit your profile while you're on your desktop. You can only do that on your phone, which is kind of weird. And I think on Instagram you can't post via desktop, like in the web version. You can only like look at content. Okay, do we have enough? Oh, we have to enable dynamic topology. There you go. Yeah, so I'm kind of interested in that. I already watched, like, it's right now it's like similar to as if you're like going to a website that's getting DDoSed. So it's very, very slow. Sometimes, for example, profiles aren't loading. I posted my first image and it got posted twice because in the beginning, like you hit post and there's this like animation that is loading, then it just stops. So I thought, okay, well, it didn't load, and I'm still like in the posting options screen. So I just hit post again, but then I posted it twice. At least I was able to remove the second post. So yeah, at least there are at least right now all functions you need to use the app. Okay. I'm kind of wondering if we could somehow like solve this issue with these gaps, although you can probably not see them in either, like not even, you cannot see the gaps in this hand. You could probably not, wait, why is this, wait, how did that happen? You cannot see it in that hand as well, so I guess we just don't care. Wait, so did I, hold on, is there still something selected? No, why is there this weird rotation? Oh no, I ruined my sculpt. It's all over now. I'm giving up. Unrecoverable. Okay, let's see. I don't really know what happened. Okay, well, that was easy. Thought it would be a little bit harder to recover. Okay. Oh, hold on. The hand is a little bit off center, or at least off the joint. There you go. That's better. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to first of all finish the finger. Then I'll go over to the main part of the hand. I'm just going to copy the fingers when when it's time to create the actual geometry. That's probably the easiest way. I don't have to sculpt like every single finger. That's probably just going to waste time, or like it's time that I could use in a different way that will probably help me more. Oh. Yeah. Tomorrow I'll probably work a little bit more on this, maybe, or I'll work on the compilation. Depends on in what mood I am. Okay. Oh, there's another one. Oh, this one's already... I don't really know how that happened. Maybe there was like some sort of selection when I rotated the finger. That's probably what happened. Like there was some like small vertices still selected back here, which then moved the whole thing. But I don't know. Maybe it was just a glitch. Now that I think about it, I think I've never seen a glitch in Blender. I sometimes see glitches in Photoshop, but I've never seen one in Blender. Usually Blender just crashes. Maybe that's their sort of glitch that they have. Just crashes when Blender realizes, oh no, there's a glitch. He doesn't have, we have to like cover it somehow. Let's just crash the whole program. Okay, perfect. So we recovered the hand. It's not over. We can continue. Okay. I will probably work on this later, although I can probably finish at least the edge right here. Shouldn't take too long. There you go. Perfect. Oh. I don't know if you follow the current gaming trends on Twitch, but it's at least something I kind of enjoy watching, is the whole GTA RP stuff. Just because I think there are like interesting stories developing, and I think if you like don't like, I think it's similar to theater. If you think about what is actually happening in front of you, like people acting as if they're, for example, like a scarecrow in Wizard of the Oz, then it might like appear weird. But I think if you like immerse yourself in the whole concept and like the stories, I think that it it can be pretty cool. And I kind of like thought about, of course, everybody has like different characters. Some have like multiple characters, and they all have like a certain, yeah, I guess like they have their own characteristics, their own motives. And I kind of thought about what I would probably do if I would have like a character. And I thought about like, of course, usually you either have police or you have like, for example, racers or like robber, like criminals, basically. And I thought about like a like what my character would probably be like, would be some sort of German war veteran that would have like this super heavy German accent, and would basically be like a wannabe Batman that would just be like that would work with the police without being in the police, so trying to like help with solving crime in his own ways, basically. I don't know, like for example, my idea was like grabbing or like getting like a jeep or something and then trying to, I don't know, just basically trying to solve or like help with fighting crime in my own ways, whatever that might be. I don't know, that sounded like an interesting character. Basically like the what could probably happen would be that it would be considered like a buzzkill, like just trying to keep everything, like everyone from having fun, I guess. Like of course it would be of course it would be role play, but maybe it would kind of be considered like robbing, or like it would probably be pretty unfun if there would be like, it could probably potentially be unfun, like if there's just one, like a dude, I don't know, like I don't even know if you can like get a sniper, but for example, like you can see like a drug deal and then you're sitting there on your rooftop sniping them so you can prevent them from finishing the deal or whatever, or like doing like more serious crime. But yeah, I don't know, that would probably be like my kind of character, trying to be like solo and always like trying to help the police, but like in your own ways. That may be like not really legal necessarily, but I like kind of like illegal methods to fight crime. Kind of interesting how the whole thing develops, that you don't not only have like dudes trying to do their own stuff, like trying to rob banks and then trying to escape while the police chases someone, but also like you have these characters that kind of set up quests for you, like if you, or like for other people, like if you do this for me, I'll give you this, and then if you do this, then, or if you finish the quest, basically my request, I'll give you another like job that you can then like complete, or like the rivalries that kind of develop, kind of interesting to see, especially because you can like see every single perspective. Okay, perfect. That's also what kind of intrigues me with, or that is also why D&D is kind of intriguing to me. I don't know, like just the whole RPG aspect sounds kind of interesting, like trying to imagine or like building a character and then developing that character over the course of, like, I don't know, a whole storyline, trying to think how that character would react and act and think. I think, I don't know, the concept is kind of cool to me. I've never really played D&D before. I've played I guess like a board game that is kind of similar to D&D, but I've never played like a whole D&D campaign. But it sounds pretty interesting. There's of course the what is it called, AI dungeon, which is kind of like D&D, but of course just like written by an AI, where you can then you get a set storyline from like built by the AI, and then you can kind of decide what you want to do. You can basically type in anything. You can either say something, you can do something, and I think you can kind of decide how the story continues. I even made a video about that, or like a small project with the AA dungeon a while back, probably last month, which revolved around going out into, like, out of the city that I was living in that storyline, and then trying to find the first like organism that I could find, which I then would sculpt in Blender. And when I did that, like as a test run, I got a huge wolf, like I don't know, like 3-meter high wolf, like in shoulder height, with blue glowing eyes, like super sharp teeth and all that. And then when I did it on stream, I just got this old dude with a huge super long nose and yeah, like short hair. So he kind of looked pretty basic. I could have probably worked on it a little bit more, making him a little bit more unique, but of course I tried to finish the whole thing in one sitting, so kind of had to be a little bit faster. Okay, let's work on this thumb. Thumb is too rough right now. We need more detail in here. Okay. And also, like, I think, like, coming back to Artful, the artistic, I guess, social media platform, it can also serve like as a substitute or like a second app for inspiration. For example, I right now mainly use Pinterest for my ideas, but at some point, like, I kind of don't really know what I want to look for anymore, what kind of keywords I'm looking for, or I should type in to like get new sort of inspiration. So I think like two I guess sites kind of help like get new ideas. I don't only have to rely on one. I can like use multiple. Of course I can use Instagram as well, but Instagram is kind of, I don't know, it's the discover function is kind of, I don't know, it's not as good as I would like. It's not as focused on, I guess, I don't know, I don't like it. The whole setup. I like Pinterest more because there you can more easily save your images in like these pinned folders, and then you can come back to them if you want to. Just easier than going through Instagram posts and then save. You can save posts in there as well, but then you have like this subsection where you have to go to, which is kind of annoying to access. So I'll just use Pinterest. Just easier to use in that regard. Sometimes inspiration can be quite hard to find, especially if you're doing in like an image every day. Okay, we have the fingernail. Let's give some more geometry to the whole finger, and then we can start sculpting the individual mechanical parts. I'm kind of torn on what I should do for this part right here, whether or not I should use, like, if I should keep this loose skin or not. I guess we could that's an interesting thought, or like it's something to think about. I'll think about that later. First of all, I'm gonna start defining the thumb, and then maybe at some point I'll go back to it. Maybe I'll get some idea while I'm working on this. I think the thumb is kind of, hold on, I have to reshape this a little bit misshaped right now. Let's push it over a little bit. There you go. Okay. And also with Artful, the good thing is it's not necessarily driven by the algorithm, meaning that if you go to the discovery page, you will most likely like find new images. At least if you go to the I think like new section, there's a trending section where you can like see like trending images. Or you can go to the news section where you then can just find all the new posts that have been made in a certain time frame, I guess. Okay. I think let's reduce the length. I think the thumb is a little bit long. Maybe shorten it a little bit might help. There you go. That's probably better. Better. Okay, let me see my thumb. My thumb's kind of scuffed, but whatever. Yeah, I'll leave it like this for now. So let's start by sculpting in the divisions between the two mechanical parts. So of course we have the gap down here. The difference, like the problem with the gap is because the finger's angled a little bit, the gap is smaller than it would be if the finger would be like stretched out all the way. We have to keep that in mind. We probably won't see the gap, but it's still there, so I kind of want to keep it anatomically correct. Okay, let's see. I guess the only way to get somewhere is to start. So let's see. We could probably start with the kneecap thingy up here. Although I kind of want to start with the U shape on the side. That's probably easier. There you go. Okay. other side. Can I see? Oh, there it is. Perfect. If I now use the, I guess, the X-ray mode, I can actually kind of keep a sort of, like, I can see through the mesh, which means I can kind of mirror the other side, which kind of helps keep it symmetrical. Is that symmetrical? Yeah, maybe it's a little bit too high. Push it down, make it a little wider. There you go. Perfect. Now let's put in the gap. Hold on. Okay. Okay, let's see. There's also this, I think, yearly challenge, which is called 30 Days of Type, where that's a challenge hosted by a, I think a certain company, I don't really know which one, where you have a letter for every day, and then you kind of have, like, you're supposed to create an image with that letter in the image itself, kind of as the focus. I think we've participated as an, like we kind of tried to participate in the challenge, I think 2 years ago as the, like, in our agency. We kind of like just did a small little internal project just to kind of, I don't know, have some fun, I guess. Do something different. Every month we have like a get together of all the people in the graphics department, and then one of the ideas someone had was just to like do this, for example. So we did that. I think I had a C or a D. What I did was I grabbed a pair of headphones and used the shape of the headphones as the C shape, and then I kind of didn't really trace it. I kind of just I don't even know, maybe I traced it, but I kind of vectorized it, so I kind of made it more graphical, used the image like as reference, and kind of use it to create the C. Of course, it's not necessary to like make it super visible, the letter, but at least you should see it somehow. You don't have to like put just a plain like C, for example, in your image. You can kind of hide it or like hint at it through the objects that are in the scene. For example, today I saw an image from someone. I think the letter today, or at least yesterday, was the letter I. So what that person did was she basically stacked multiple shapes in like on top of each other in Blender, and then put a like flying orb or sphere on top of that. Put on some like simple materials, and that is basically, and like it should like display an eye. So you don't have to be like super on the nose with it. You can be kind of pretty abstract. That's another one of those creative challenges. Same with the Sculptember challenge. Every September there's a challenge where every day there's a certain keyword which is the theme for the day, and you kind of have to sculpt something in that theme. I think last year it was, what I did was, I think I told that before, like I talked about that before, I only sculpted hands just to kind of get better at them. It didn't really work that well. I mean, I probably got better at least like the whole process of sculpting hands, but I still have like a lot to learn. But there's like stuff like angry, funny, or whatever, like some sort of like pretty open-ended keywords which you can kind of interpret into different images, of course, and then you can post them with the hashtag sculptember. I think last year it was kind of it wasn't hosted by the main Sculptember, I guess, like organization or whatever. The main channel didn't really post anything, so like just someone, I guess, started or like someone just posted like another image with some keywords that some adapted and used. I think I've seen like 2 different like lists of keywords. I just used one of them and went with it. So that's probably also what we're going to do in September. We're probably going to replace, or at least like we can utilize the quick sketches for these sculpts in September. So 30 minutes for a sculpt can be quite daunting. Maybe I'll increase the time for that month, because 30 minutes for a sculpt sounds pretty crazy. You know, what I thought about just, I guess today was, of course, with me sitting here and talking about stuff, I, of course, try to kind of keep the conversation going, but, which kind of reminds me of one of my friends and also my dad. Both of them like are very talkative, so they like to talk a lot, and like for a long time they always can like somehow continue their like I guess train of thought and also like the conversation. And what sometimes happens, like, and I mention it, is that like topics will be repeated. What I usually then do is I say like, oh, I think I talked about it before, but there we go. I kind of wondered if people that kind of like talk a lot actually like realize that they, for example, repeat a topic. I've never heard my dad say like, oh, I think I've talked about this before, but yada yada yada. I've only ever like really heard that from myself. Maybe, I don't know, maybe some people like just like people that like to talk a lot, maybe they just don't say it. They know that it's something that they've already talked about, but they just like talking about it, so they say it again, or they don't even like realize it. Because sometimes like my dad would, for example, if the same topic comes up, he would just talk or like say the same anecdote, for example, multiple times. I already know how the story like ends, but he's like talking about it again. And what the most confusing part is, or at least I guess it's the same for me, my mom is it's similar to me when it comes to like off stream. She doesn't stream, but what I mean, like me off stream, she isn't that talkative. So usually when we're eating all together, like when we're all sitting together eating, usually what happens is, of course, my dad is talking the most, most likely with my mother, I mean my mom, and so he's kind of keeping, like, he keeps the conversation going kind of, and I just sit there and eat my meal. And hold on, I lost my train of thought. So I wonder if my mom kind of knows, like kind of sees or like has the same thought, like, oh, I already know that story. I'm kind of doubtful about that, because sometimes like she responds to the stories as if she's never heard them before. I usually just, I don't know, maybe even like answer, like continue the story before he tells it. Not really like in a rude manner where I like or like where I tell him, okay, I heard that before, this and this and this happens, but I kind of like just usually I just sit there and like listen to it again. And yeah, I kind of wonder if people that kind of talk about the same stuff multiple times actually like realize that they say the same stuff, but they just don't say it, or they just don't know. Maybe they talk that much that they can't really remember what they talked about like a week or so before. Maybe, I don't know, kind of interesting to think about. Because if I, like, that's why I say it, like, if I talk about the same story multiple times, like, it's really like super interesting for the other person, so why would I tell it again? I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm too self-conscious. Maybe I should think less about myself. Let's go back to the plane. What is it called? Multi-plane scrape tool to refine these edges here. Perfect. We probably don't have to do that necessarily, but I guess it could be like beneficial to a certain degree, so I'll just do it. Usually, oh, what I wanted to say is when only me and my mom eat together, when my dad, for example, is still working, we usually we don't really talk about stuff. We just sit there and eat, except for when there's like something to talk about. So yeah, sometimes we just sit there and eat until we're done, which sounds kind of weird, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really feel weird. Sometimes you just have nothing to talk about. Maybe that's like a bad sign or something, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's like necessarily negative. We don't really share any interests, so there's not really that much to talk about. Maybe like when it comes to family stuff, like for example right now my grandparents moved closer to us just so we don't have to drive like 45 minutes to get to them, and now my mom is looking for someone that can like buy their old house, because we're not going to keep it, we're just going to sell it. So she's kind of managing all that. And sometimes we like talk about that, for example, who came, like who was who was interested and all that. But if there's like nothing really happening around the family, I guess sometimes we just chill and eat. Okay, one edge is defined. Let's do the next one. There you go. Oh, and what I also wanted to say is, going back to Artful, I'll probably post my quick sketches there as well. Just, I don't know. That's mainly what I post anyway, and I kind of want to get some more experiences posting there, just to see how it works and how it, like, yeah, how the whole platform works. First thing I posted was one of my favorite quick sketches. I think I was number 53, 56, something like that, with the hooded lady being illuminated by a ring light underneath her. Okay, perfect. Let me maybe make the inner, I guess, edge a little bit more clear. We probably don't have to do it because we don't need that edge or that the crease for the modeling part, but I don't know, I'll just do it. Okay, perfect. So let me maybe pull this a little bit further back. This way we have a little bit more room for the screw that would be like between the two parts, so they're actually connected. Let me see if I can, if I need to change that to on the other finger as well. Looks pretty good to me. Okay, perfect. So let's okay, now we have something interesting. Now we have the transition from the thumb to the rest of the hand, which is a kind of tricky spot. I haven't really thought about that one yet, so let's see what we can do here. So we have a joint right there. Oh, hold on. So we have a joint right there. And we also have like muscle going to the bone, the thumb bone, which is this bunch right there, like this meaty, yeah. So I'm just looking at my reference right now. I don't really have a reference for the inner part of the hand. I have one. Okay. I should have one more. Let's see if I have it, but I haven't added it to my references yet. Let's see. There should be one more. Maybe I need to look it up on Pinterest real quick. Yep, let's do that. Oh, of course, it's already open. There you go. So crazy. I have like my power charger adapter for my phone, and it like charges so fast. It is now, it was before I think at 25%. Now maybe like 45 minutes later it's at 58%. So goes pretty fast, pretty quickly. Sometimes I like plug it in, like do something, and then look back at it already at 100%. I think back in the day with my old phone, it took like multiple hours to get to 100%. Now it would probably take like 1.5 hours or so. Pinterest, let me look up a good reference for the inner part of a mechanical hand. Kind of specific, but we can probably find something. Of course, a lot of these hands are very mechanical. They look more like construction, I guess, construction mechanisms or like machines rather than like hands that kind of like machines that are supposed to represent hands, which makes it a little bit more harder to find good references. Okay, there's one. Let's see. That's the other side. Kind of hard to find. Okay, that's not really what I wanted. So let's look through a few more. You cannot see what I look at, but I mean, I can maybe shoutcast my findings. Not really that much right now. More like very... Oh, this one could be good. Yeah, that looks pretty okay. This one could be pretty good. Okay, save that. There you go. Let me drink something real quick. Getting dehydrated. Okay. So, turns out mechanical hands look kinda weird when it comes to thumbs. I think some of them like kind of just remove the muscles like completely. Some of them have this like rotation in there. I have one that is kind of that uses a certain like membrane like or like cloth like I guess there's like this cloth part right where I mean, or what I talked about before, like the meaty part right between the thumb and the, I guess the pointy finger, like the what is it called, the index finger, this weird like meaty part. They in this design used some sort of leathery like some sort of leather. Is there anything else? This one. I started 3D with developing games in my mind, like in the back of my mind. So the reason I started working or learning to become a, I guess, like a graphic designer or like media designer, whatever you want to call it, was because I wanted to like basically start like so my end goal was to be a games developer or like be into like to work on games. That is still in my thought, like in my brain. I kind of always like try to implement new techniques, new things I can learn, which kind of like have game design in mind. For example, I first started learning when I started learning about hair, for example. The first hair I did was with hair particles, which of course aren't used in games, but rather hair card hairs, which means you create a hair texture that you then apply onto a plane, which you then can form around a head, for example, which then can be used in real-time engines, which is then of course used for games. So I kind of first learned how to actually like create digital hair, and then I switched to how you create digital hair for games. So I always like keep in mind, I always think about not only the process for example movies, but I also think about the process, how that process would work in games, and I always try to learn both, because I still kind of have in mind maybe at some point maybe to work on games. Maybe not. Maybe it's just still in my mind. I definitely have thought about it. But there's still a lot I can learn. That's also why I kind of want to go a little bit like to this new company, just because they also do VR and work with Unity, another games engine, or you can develop games in there. You can develop a lot of stuff in there. Whole lot of stuff, which is why I kind of want to switch to that company, just to learn a little bit more about the whole like the whole, I guess, digital, what is it called, digital, not enjoyment, digital entertainment when it comes to games, like the whole process. I kind of want to learn more about that. Solo, I mean, the first thing I would probably have to learn would be how to use a games engine, which is kind of neat, or kind of like a good coincidence that I would probably work with Unity in that new company. So if I ever want to make a game, I would have to learn a games engine first. I don't want to like program a new game and like code a new game in Java, so I would probably use a games engine. And of course, if I want to create anything in like if I want to create a game solo, that would mean that I would not only have to create the game itself when it comes to the mechanics, but also like the models. I could probably grab them from somewhere, but I kind of like it more to create them myself. So yeah, I'm more interested in individual assets than whole games. Most, like, what I like the most is creating characters, and probably like either creating characters for games or like animations when it comes to, I don't know, movies, I guess. Both is fun to me. Fun for me, fun to me, whatever. So, is there another good reference? This one maybe. I guess. I mean, I have a good one right now. Oh, this one could be pretty good. Okay, I'll keep this one as well. Yeah, so developing a game is in my mind, but it's a long-term goal. One of my long-term goals. So it's in my mind, but it's like it's the thing that shapes my day-to-day decisions, I guess. You can call it that. Oh, the what is it? Super Meat Boy emoji. I remember buying Super Meat Boy when it was like on sale in the Steam sale for like €1. I think I played it for like a half an hour, then I was done. Maybe I'll boot it up this weekend. But it's not really that like my kind of game. I don't like these super high-paced super hard games. I prefer more like these like games like Dark Souls. They're like, they have more strategy to them than Super Meat Boy. Kind of seems more similar to Geometry Dash, where you kind of have to memorize the movement pattern. It doesn't really feel like a strategic, like dynamic game to me, so that's why I don't really like it that much. compared to stuff like Monster Hunter or Dark Souls, for example. Okay, where's my other hand? I grabbed another one. Where is it? Where is it? I need it. Wait, did I even download it? No, I did. Okay, weird. There it is. Okay, perfect. So, let's continue. So I guess we could kind of do the same shape, like this kneecap shape, for this joint as well. That's probably the best choice, because it's kind of similar in terms of its function. It should serve the same purpose. So let's put that in there first, and then we can continue with the rest. Actually, what we could do, so hold on, if we move the thumb, we have so many different movements that we can do with it, that we kind of have to keep them all in mind and make sure that they're not, that the pieces of the hand don't intersect with each other, which kind of is kind of complex. Of course, we're probably not going to see the back of the hand that much in the end model, but I don't like knowing that something's wrong if I can like fix it very easily. I don't like ignoring this kind of stuff. That is not something I usually do, except for when like time is when I'm short on time. Okay. Let's see. So first things first, the kneecap joint. I mean kneecap rather. It's not a joint, it's just a kneecap. We can probably make this round actually. This one can be round. The other ones are more like an oval or like an eye shape. Or we could make this longer actually. Should we make it longer? No. Okay, perfect. So that's the first one. So that's the kneecap. Maybe we could make it a little bit bigger. Maybe we can position it a little bit different. Let's shape it actually to make it like an actual circle. Make it a little bit bigger. There you go. Okay. I need another gap down here, although the gap probably has to look a little bit different because the thumb can go quite deep into, like, can bend quite a lot, which means let's change it up a little bit. So first of all, what I'm gonna do is I'll just cut in here. There you go. Then I will pull it down. This is basically like a sketch that I just draw on top of the sculpt, just to first of all like lay out some sort of layout basically, which I think can of course still change. I could probably also draw it on to the sculpt using the mask tool, but I like putting it in right away more. Probably not as I guess it's more destructive than drawing it on there, but shouldn't be too bad. Destructive in the sense that you cannot really go back that easily to a previous state. So for example, if you're working in Blender and you work non-destructively, you would make sure that you can always, for example, you would work with modifiers, you wouldn't bevel the object, you would use the bevel modifier. This way you can always like just remove the modifier and you didn't really affect the geometry of the object. You just use the modifier to affect the geometry, which is non-destructively because you don't change the geometry itself. And you can always go back to a current, like a previous state without, yeah, like always keeping that kind of like back door open. Same, the same kind of works in Photoshop. You should always like try to work non-destructively. There's this, for example, if you create text, text is in the beginning built above, like it's built, or if you create text, it's not a pixel image or like just an image that is pixelated. It is actually using vectors to create the font, meaning it uses a mathematical calculation to display that font, which means if you scale up that font, it can be scaled up infinitely, yeah, in like as big as it's like into infinity and beyond when it comes to the size, which you can't really do when you scale up pixelated images. For example, at some point you can see like all the individual pixels, so the higher you scale up a pixelated image, the more it's going to look pixelated. That's not going to be the case with vector-based images, because they aren't based on pixels, they are based on mathematical calculations, which are also non-destructive. So when you then have to, for example, rasterize your font, for example, to do some sort of adjustments, what I usually do is I duplicate my font, and then I would like hide the second, like the duplicate, just so I still have it. And then like if I like what is it called, destroy basically my first font and something's wrong, I want to go back to a previous state, I can still use my non-destructive or like my duplicate that I haven't touched to do so. So that's basically a non-destructive workflow, just always being able to go back to a previous state very easily. For example, sometimes if you don't do that, it could happen that you kind of like work on something and then you kind of decide, oh, that's actually not what I wanted to happen. But then if you want to go back, you can't, because for example, you've either already saved, meaning you cannot go back as far as you probably need to, or you cannot really replicate what you had before, because you of course cannot go back far enough, and you cannot just recreate what you had in that image without, like, before you made all the changes. So to avoid like the no going back like, I guess, situation, you always try to keep that back door open, because sometimes you just play around. Like, for example, if you're concepting, you don't really know what you want to have in the end, so you just like test out some stuff, and doing that in a non-destructive state, or doing it non-destructively, is just easier because you can always go back. For example, if I would go in here and create a sphere, which I subdivide, I don't know, like 50 times, for example. Okay, well, maybe like 10 times or 6 times. and I add a little bit more to the sphere, and then I do some sort of transformation that doesn't work because my PC or Blender crashes because I've subdivided my sphere too much. That's a problem, of course. So I would either have to create a new sphere and subdivide it to a lower amount, or I create a sphere and use the subdivision surface modifier. If I see, oh, the subdivisions are too high, I can just lower the subdivisions and, yeah, basically just dynamically change the subdivision to whatever I need. Oh, sorry. So warm in here. Should probably lower my my thingy. There you go. What's that? 2. Okay. So how do we do this now? Should we include this weird like fleshy bit? I mean, we could probably like use like something similar, like some sort of like maybe like cotton or like silk material, but I don't really know if that's what I want to do. I mean, I'll probably put some sort of like silk or like cotton material underneath all these parts so that you can not like look like directly inside of the whole hand, to kind of keep the silhouette like intact. But should I do it in there is the question, because then I would probably have to sculpt the folds that would like be there. How would a hard surface hand look like? Okay, so now what I usually do if I want to experiment and I know that I do excuse me, that I do too much, I do too many changes that I can't go back far enough, what I usually do is I save, I do my changes, and if I don't like what I did, I just reopen the file. This way I can kind of preserve this current state if I want to go back to it without having to like Control Z all the way back, which isn't possible because I did too many changes. Okay. What I want to try is I want to see how it looks like without this fleshy bit, just the bone basically, or like part of the flesh. That's probably going to change the silhouette a little bit, but maybe it's not that obvious. Maybe you can kind of forgive it because it's like actually like a mechanical part, which kind of can be a little bit, can look a little bit different than the organic, I guess, look or silhouette. Of course, I said before that I kind of want to keep the silhouette intact, but I kind of want to experiment at least in this region. I think kind of want to talk about a philosophical question. Let's see, what do we have here? Maybe no, let's see, let's go through. Okay, no, that's boring. Oh, okay, let's go to dilemma situations. 28 top moral dilemma questions, scenarios and examples. Okay. Morality is defined as the principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong or good and bad behavior. Okay. The unfaithful friend. You go out with your husband, okay, well, that, I guess your wife, for dinner at a new restaurant you have not frequented before. It is in a part of town you rarely visit. You are shocked to see your friend's spouse having dinner with a very young, attractive person. From the way they are behaving, it is obvious they are not more than friends. The couple finish their meal and leave without seeing you. They behave very affectionately on the way out the door. Do you tell your friend, knowing you probably will not be believed and that it may ruin your friendship? Okay. Say nothing about seeing the couple, as it is none of your business. They may even have an open relationship. I mean, it seems kind of obvious to me. But I guess, I don't know, I would probably, like, to be honest, if I don't really know how the situation of telling your friend that you think that their wife, or yeah, wife is cheating on them could lead to, I don't want to be your friend anymore. If that would happen, it kind of seems like we wouldn't be friends, like good friends anyway, so I kind of like don't really care, I guess. So I would just go and tell them what I saw. I don't really have to say, oh, I know they're like, she's cheating on you. I would just go there and like say, okay, I saw this and that. Maybe you should like talk about it with her. I don't really have to judge anything. So I just tell what I saw and that's it. I don't know if there's really like anything controversial about that. I don't know. Seems pretty obvious to me, at least. Like, not telling, of course, it, like, if the situation is you have not, like, so the situation is kind of like a dilemma, probably, because the situation for you, or like the outcome for you, is nothing. Like, either, of course, they haven't seen you, so the situation is kind of like, if you say nothing, nothing will happen. You're not going to be like, your friend is not going to ask you why you didn't tell him that she was cheating on him. If that happens, nobody knows that you were there, or that you knew, or that you kind of suspected something. Nobody expected you to say anything because nobody knew that you knew anything about it. And the other option would be to tell your friend, and then I guess in that situation risk your friendship. Which is kind of weird, because I don't know, like, I don't know if there is really like a good like friendship that would be broken, or like that would break up just because someone like tells the other person, or like that, like one person tells their friend that they suspect that their girlfriend or wife cheats on someone else. I think there's a bigger benefit in telling your friend what you saw. There's a bigger benefit compared to not telling, because if you're right and they actually cheated, then you kind of like you show your friend that you actually care about him, which is kind of like just a, like, either if you don't tell him, he just doesn't know that you knew, or you tell him and you kind of signal to him that you actually care about him, and you like you told him about the whole thing. Is of course a very like extreme topic, or like an extreme situation, and telling your friend about that extreme situation that you could also just not tell him about, because it would kind of change his whole life, I guess. Telling him about it, I think, kind of shows that you kind of care about him and like his life. So I would definitely say I would tell him about it. It doesn't even have to be like confrontational. He doesn't really. What is he supposed to do? Like, he doesn't know. So there's not really like something I can blame him on. Like, there's nothing I can blame him for. Like, oh, if you would have done more with her, she wouldn't be cheating on you. Like, no. Like, maybe that's the case, but I wouldn't like say that when I tell him that I suspect something might happen. And the what is it? The question or the situation doesn't tell you, like, knowing you probably will not be believed. So, I mean, of course, maybe you're not going to be believed, but then if it comes out, they're going to believe you even more than that, or trust you even more than what they trusted you with before, or they will have more trust afterwards than if you just don't tell any, like, just don't say anything. What is this? Oh, okay, there was just a link on the website. 93 funny stupid questions to ask your friends. Okay, let's see what's in here. Random nonsense questions. My favorite question to ask, like just joke questions, probably like you can probably like change the topic, but the template is what's your, out of all the cars that you could buy, like if you have infinite amounts of money, out of all the cars that you could buy, why is it a Ferrari LaFerrari or whatever? Like, just choose some sort of specific car. Like, first of all, you make an open-end, like you allude to an open-ended question, but then you make it very, very specific. Out of all the fruits in the world, if you could choose, why would you choose an apple? Something like that. What are 3 things you could buy at a grocery store to make the cashier give you weird looks? Okay, I guess some sort of like, I guess, funny questions. Yeah, like questions like, would you rather own a horse the size of a cat or a cat the size of a mouse? If animals could talk, which species would be the rudest of them all? Okay, let's go back to dilemmas. So the first one wasn't really a dilemma, at least in my from my perspective. Probably for other people, because otherwise it wouldn't be considered a dilemma. Let's see, what's the next one? A difficult choice. You and your family love the beach and decide to spend a weekend at an isolated beach cabin. Your teenage daughter often gets bored on your getaways, so you make plans to take your niece along. As soon as you arrive, a storm is looming on the horizon and the water looks rough. You tell the girls they can get ready to swim, but to come back and help unload the car. They are so excited, they do not pay attention to the last part of what you say and run down to the beach to swim. You do not realize they have done so until you hear your daughter scream. You realize they are both caught in a strong current and might be swept out to sea. You are a good swimmer and know you can save one of them. You have a difficult choice to make. Well, save your niece first, as she is a poor swimmer and will not be able to last as long as your daughter. Save your daughter first, because although she's a strong swimmer and may be able to last long enough for you to come back, and after saving your niece, you cannot stand the idea of losing her. I guess that's just a matter of like priority. I guess I would at least suspect most people would choose the daughter, just because she's closer to you, and nobody would probably blame you. I think people would more blame you if you would save the niece. Maybe you, like, even though the daughter like can swim, like has more swimming capabilities, can swim better. So I would probably say save the daughter. Pretty simple. Maybe I'm just I don't know, maybe I'm not as emotional about these questions as other people are. Maybe I'm a very unemotional person. I mean, I don't know. It's, for me, they seem kind of logical. The questions, like, would you rather save your daughter or your niece? You probably have like a stronger connection to your daughter, so you would probably choose your daughter. And I also think about the aspect of like you have to make a quick decision. So if you like have to make a quick decision, you would probably not choose the niece, or you would just, I don't know, be in shock and do nothing. That could probably happen. But yeah, I don't know. Probably your daughter. Oh, I have an idea how I could make this thumb work. I'll put in a cut right here. Oh, not a... What is that? Like a hole, rather a cut. Like this. Okay, I think there's... We should go to a next question. I think I'm gonna go through all of these pretty quickly. I feel like, at least judging from these two. Let's see. An office theft. You are in charge of the petty cash at the office. However, a co-worker is responsible for making a weekly trip to the bank to make the business deposit and obtain petty cash for the following week. In a conversation with your mutual supervisor, you are asked if the increase in the petty cash amount was enough. You, however, have not seen any additional money. You realize your co-worker has been pocketing the additional money. Do you tell your supervisor you have neither asked for nor received any additional petty cash and that you suspect your co-worker is pocketing the money? Tell your co-worker your suspicions and give them a chance to pay the money back. Say nothing and just wait to see what happens. Okay, let me read the first one again. Tell your supervisor you have neither asked for nor received any additional petty cash and that you suspect your co-worker is pocketing the money. Well, I like the first answer without the suspicion part. I don't like if stuff like this would happen and I have a like if there's a situation, a spicy situation I'm gonna call it, where somebody else could be in trouble, or even I, what I usually do is I just state my experience as like objectively as possible, or like state my stuff without putting any suspicions in there. So if I, for example, if this person actually stole the money and I actually like suspect her stealing the money or like pocketing it, I would just say like, oh, I didn't, like, just as the first answer says, like I would I didn't like ask for more money. I didn't see any more like money being put in, or like I didn't, whatever it said. I would basically just state what I know, and then I would like let the person that I tell my story to make their own mind up. This way I don't I don't blame someone, but I still say the truth. I think that's, I don't know, at least for me, the best way to solve these problems. For example, it was actually probably 2 weeks ago, before I went on a week vacation. I took over a project from one of my colleagues, and actually 2 projects. The first one he briefed me for the day before his vacation started. The other one he was still working on, so he wanted to brief me on Monday. So I only first, like on Friday, I only got briefed to one project, and then every Monday we have a small like meeting where we kind of talk about what we're kind of working on. If anybody can like has some free time to like, for example, help someone else. And I basically said like, okay, my colleague briefed me for this project, but the other one he didn't. Or I don't know if I like specifically said he didn't for the other one, but I said he briefed me for the for one of them. And then after that, I spoke with my colleague again, and he kind of very, I guess maybe I've stated my my retelling of the meeting a little bit disadvantageous. And he kind of interpreted it as if I said there was no briefing. He didn't tell me anything. So I just said like, nope. I talked about, like, I kind of just retold what I said, so that he could either say, okay, it's all good then, or he could say, oh well, you could have said something like that was kind of like he can make up his own mind, basically. I don't say like, oh no, I definitely said like you briefed me for both, or like you briefed me for at least one of them. I just state what I said. This way that he can make up his own mind. And if I was in the wrong, maybe I don't know. If I was in the wrong, he can tell me, and then I can either accept the criticism or I don't. Because I don't think like I don't accept or agree with this, I guess, position. This is kind of how I approach, I guess, spicy situations. So if somebody would like steal money and I would see it, for example, what I would do is for example, if I'm working, like, for example, in a bakery or in some sort of like shop, and I see someone like pocketing money, what I would do is I would go to my supervisor and say like, oh, I wouldn't say like that I saw someone stealing it. I would just say like, oh, I went to the what is it called, like the cash register, and I would say like, oh, I looked in there. I remember there was more in there before I ended my shift or whatever. I just basically would tell how I would like discover that there was missing money without, I guess, like snitching on someone, like throwing someone under the bus. That's probably what I would do. But in this situation, if it says like you suspect, like you say that you suspect your coworker is pocketing the money, I guess like it's probably still the best answer. The other one is tell your coworker your suspicions and give them a chance to pay the money back. I mean, that could be another way of doing it, I guess. The only I mean, the only problem with that answer is that if she wasn't the suspect, or like the person that actually did it, then I kind of like tell her, or like kind of show her that I kind of think she's capable of doing these things, which can kind of like probably paint a negative picture between the two of us. So I would probably just be very neutral in the whole thing. Every time I get in a spicy situation, I try to be neutral. I think that's the best way to handle it. Even if I did something wrong, I wasn't in that many spicy situations yet, but I try to stay neutral. This way, if I'm wrong, I can just accept that. If I like, if I see it so myself, like if I see, okay, I was wrong, like I would just say, okay, I see what you mean, I was wrong. Or if I don't see it that way, then I can still say like, oh, nope, I don't think you're right, or I don't agree with your position. I think staying neutral is probably the best way to do any of those situations. You don't like build bad blood with someone because you suspect someone is doing stuff, and you also don't like just hide. You don't hide something from your boss. Okay. Next question or situation. Midnight death. You have worked years to be successful in your father's business. You felt you were obligated to take over as he worked his whole life to build the business left to him. No, wait, what? His whole life to build the business left to him by his father. However, the large businesses in town have seriously cut into profits, and for several years, you and your family have just managed to scrape by. Your father's health has declined and he has been hospitalized. He has a substantial life insurance policy that expires at midnight. Wait, what? Okay. If he dies before midnight, you will inherit enough money to pursue a career you have always dreamed of and provide adequately for your family. Okay, do you pinch the oxygen line, making it possible for your dad to die, or smother him with a pillow? Okay. Tell your dad the problem and let him suggest a solution and go by what he says. Do nothing as you cannot imagine living with yourself if you terminate your dad's life. I mean, two of the situations include killing someone, possibly. At least like one of them is definitely killing someone, or like, no, it's stated that it's possible that it happens. So two of them include killing with like intentional killing. So, I mean, there's probably just one answer that I would accept, which is do nothing as you cannot imagine living with yourself if you terminate your dad's life. I don't think that it is impossible to live life. I think it's more of a burden to live with your father's death at your own hands rather than living with a very small amount of cash. I don't think cash can replace or like kind of hide what you did, and you will always remember that. Even if you like, if you stay poor, you stay poor, and you can never forgive yourself probably for killing your father. And if you become rich, you probably realize that money isn't everything, and you'll still like mourn that you killed your father and that you have to live with that fact forever. So yeah, there's only really one answer for me. Pretty simple question if you ask me. I mean, I don't know, is this like different for you? I don't know, maybe I'm very like very binary when it comes to these questions. They seem very simple to me. So this part will be probably another like huge gap. This just leaves room for movement, and I'll probably keep it very like keep this cut in here. I'm not gonna like try to replicate the flesh that would be between the thumb and the rest of the hand. Actually, I think I'll just keep it very close to the bone, or like the mechanical bone, whatever you want to call it. I'll put in some sort of cloth probably in here. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't really seem like a whole lot of dilemma going on. I mean, I can see like the I think like dilemma questions are more interesting if you like discuss them with someone actively, because then you have like two sides like saying their piece, how they would like react or like do it, which you then can use as a base for like discussion. I mean, I'm feeling kind of down today as well, so don't worry, you don't have to type. I just I can still like talk about stuff. I was just asking, maybe you're different in that regard. I don't want to force you to type. If you're just, for example, working on something, I don't want to like rip you out of that. You do you. If you want to type, then go ahead. Oh. Hope at least it was refreshing. A nice nap can always help refresh your brain. I heard that sometimes like sleeping for like 20 minutes in the middle of the day can help like clear up your mind and be a little bit more awake. Although I've tried it for like a few days, or like just sparingly, and it didn't really help that much, at least for me. So maybe it's it only helps if you do it like for a long time, like make it your habit. Maybe then it helps. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, hope you can find some rest today. Enough rest tonight. Okay, so I'll we have we've reached an interesting point. I'll probably separate like this part as well into multiple pieces, although I kind of want to okay, let's just cut in here first. There you go. That's probably a good start. We can still change it if we need to. You know, I kind of like, I listened to a sleep expert a while back. I can't remember what his name was, but he talked about, of course, why and how important sleep is, and that you get enough sleep. And I think I just have to be a little bit more, like, I think I get like almost enough sleep, but I'm probably like missing like 50 minutes or like, I don't know, 30 minutes more. Maybe I'll just have to be a little bit more disciplined when it comes to that. Because I don't know, sleep for me, it doesn't feel that important, but it is. So I kind of want to maybe switch my perspective on it. No, I usually don't take naps. When I like feel that I'm like, that I almost like just fall asleep just sitting on my PC, then maybe I would consider it, but usually I don't. usually my day is too full to take naps. But of course, they can be quite effective. I definitely I definitely have taken naps before. Oh, what we could do though for this part is maybe put in like a small piece in here. Yeah, so usually when I took naps, what I would do is, so I don't like, I'm scared of like just, yeah, as you said, like sleeping for like 3 hours. What I usually do is I set myself like a timer of 20 minutes so that I can make sure that I actually wake up when 20 minutes are over. When I did it. So yeah, if I do that, that's usually what I do, like just setting a timer, because I hate wasting time. Wasting time is probably like the biggest fear of mine. Maybe not the biggest, but like one thing I kind of hate, which is always like, or at least it's like frustrating. So I always try to avoid, I guess, wasting time, which is why I set like a timer. I don't just trust myself waking up after 20 minutes, which is probably a good thing because I don't think I could do that. And for example, usually what would happen is on the weekends, I don't set a like an alarm clock. Usually my parents wake me up because they prepare, like my dad gets some buns or like some bread that we can eat. My mom usually like prepares the breakfast, and then she wakes me up so I can like shower and all that, prepare. So I don't usually like set an alarm clock. But then if like the occasional outlier of days like happens and she doesn't wake me up because, like, for example, my dad doesn't like is somewhere, has to be somewhere, and she doesn't really want to eat breakfast, she then sometimes just decides to not wake me up, and then I would like sleep for like 3 hours more or so, which always frustrates me because I usually like have some sort of plan for the day, and then like ruining the whole plan or like my plans by stealing 3 hours from me. It's kind of frustrating to me. I think the most frustrating part about like in my the part that I get most frustrated about probably is when stuff gets in my disrupts my plans that I have for the day. Usually I always have plans. Like I think about what I want to do on that day, and if there's something like, oh, like my mom says, oh, can you help me, like, or like, can you come with me, like go shop like groceries, I get kind of frustrated because then my plans are like completely like screwed. And like 3 hours is like a lot of time, so if I leave for 3 hours more, then I mean I could probably like stay awake for 3 hours longer, but still frustrating. So if I take naps, I usually set a timer, or I basically always set a timer, just because it's like too risky to gamble whether or not I would actually wake up. I also heard that even if you are deprived of sleep, you don't really realize it. Your brain kind of just, I guess, hides it. So if you're sleep deprived, you might like feel it the first few days, but then at some point your brain kind of adapts to it, I guess, which doesn't mean that you get enough sleep, but actually that your brain just adapts to it, which isn't a good thing because you should get more. But you kind of think you don't, which is kind of like a bad cycle just a bad cycle, which is kind of interesting because then like I guess the only way you really know whether or not you get enough sleep is through just sleeping like 7.5 to 8 hours. Otherwise your brain just tells you, oh well, maybe you have enough, like you slept enough, maybe not. Who knows? I'm not gonna tell you. And then you're just sitting there like, okay, well, I guess I got enough sleep. Like one of the, I think he told me, or no, he didn't tell me. He talked about what would happen if you don't get enough sleep. One of the things that like sleep deprivation contributes to is dementia, for example. It can increase the chance of dementia, or even like what is it, like fasten the progression, I guess, or like the like it can give you dementia faster. I don't know if it can like really develop it on its own, or if you have to have this genetic like preset. Yeah, you have like, you genetically just get it at some point, but if you don't get enough sleep, you get it faster. Maybe it was something like that, which sounds kind of scary. And also like just you learn, he gave that example of someone learning, or like an MMA fighter learning new moves, or like just learning techniques, and they recorded his brain, I guess, fluctuations, or like brain actions throughout his sleep. What he would do is like he would train, for example, a certain like row of moves. He would train it over and over and over again. They would see like this certain pattern in the brain that would like these specific neurons would be activated when he does that move. And then they would see that when he's sleeping, the brain would do the exact same move while he's sleeping. So it kind of like, it would be similar to when you sleep, you still, your brain still repeats that, what you have learned or what you want to learn. So even like just through sleep, you can learn something new, or like something you want to learn. So sleeping actually helps you learn, or like keeping something in your brain that you want to learn. For example, if you I don't know, if you want to learn how to do a kickflip on your board, what you can do is like train for like 5 hours. You could probably not do it on that day, but then if you sleep and you do it the next day, you might like get it like in the next few tries, just because your brain still like improved, or like improved your muscle memory while you were sleeping. So my actual dilemma is yeah, I think he talked about that as well. You shouldn't sleep too much, but I can't remember how long. I think like nine or more hours is kind of bad for you, but I can't remember what his reasoning was. I just know that if nobody wakes me up, I easily sleep more than 8 hours. Usually when I don't have like any alarm, when I have no alarm waking me up, I can easily sleep like 10 or more hours. Let's see. I'm kind of curious why actually more sleep is bad for you. Why too much sleep is bad? Too much sleep, as well as not enough sleep, raises the risk of chronic diseases such as coronary heart diseases, diabetes, anxiety, and obesity in adults aged 45 and older. Sleeping too much puts you at greater risk. Yeah, I don't want to see the results. I want to see, like, I want to know why. Yeah. The article doesn't tell me why, though. Why too much sleep is bad? Is too much sleep harmful? Let's see. I mean, we know that it is, but why? Please tell me. I want to know. Why do people sleep so much? Okay, for people who suffer from hypersomnia, oversleeping is actually a medical disorder. The condition causes people to suffer from extreme sleepiness throughout the day. Okay, Oh, obstructive sleep apnea, a disorder that causes people to stop breathing momentarily during sleep, can also lead to an increased need for sleep. That's because it disrupts the normal sleep cycle. That sounds kind of crazy. Well, I don't want to know what can happen if you if you sleep too much. I want to know why. Like, what happens in your brain or whatever that triggers all these symptoms. None of these. Death, okay. Oh, multiple studies have found that people who sleep 9 or more hours a night have significantly higher death rates than people sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night. No specific reason for this correlation has been determined. Okay. If you ever average more than 7 or 8 hours of sleep, wait, what? There it is. A night, see a doctor for a checkup. The doctor can help you determine why you oversleep. But why? Not why lack of sleep is bad for you. Wait, oversleep? Oh no. Lack of sleep. Why too much sleep is bad for you? What happens if you sleep too much? Well, oh my god, it immediately goes to symptoms. Please just tell me why. What are the 3 types of fatigue? Transient, cumulative, and circadian. Transient fatigue is acute fatigue brought on by extreme sleep restriction or extended hours awake within 1 or 2 days. Cumulative fatigue is fatigue brought on by repeated mild sleep restriction or extended hours awake across a series of days. Okay. What's the last one? Circadian fatigue refers to the reduced performance during nighttime hours, particularly during an individual's window of circadian low, typically between 2 a.m. and 5:59 a.m. Okay. Researchers show that the accumulation of sleep debt, for example, by having an hour less of sleep for several consecutive days, needs a series of days with more than usual sleep for a person to fully recover from cumulative fatigue. Okay. But why? I don't think we can solve that answer today. The detrimental effects, no.